I'm Catherine Story. Welcome to my channel, House of Story. Recently, I was just asked by an emerging designer about doing a trade show. And her question really was about some of these new production companies are actually coming in and they're saying they're going to do a fashion show for you and they're going to represent your brand. And this is new to the industry, I would say, especially since COVID. And so along with that, there are also trade shows which have been going on, since I have started business in different capitals. Like there's New York, there's Swim in Miami, there's London, New York, there's LA. So what's the difference? First of all, the difference is what's great about doing one of these runway shows is you do get the experience and the brand exposure. Depending on who's doing the production. I was recently in one of these shows and the production was not as experienced as I had imagined, and therefore not only did I not get the coverage that I was expecting through the press and the journalists, I also didn't get the photos which was huge. The video and the photos were awful, and in my mind, part of why I was doing it was because I thought, I'll get this great video that I can use, and I'll get these photos, like it's cheaper than a photo shoot, because a photo shoot's going to cost you the model, the photographer, the makeup, assistants, paying for a location possibly. So anyways, so my advice is look into the research, do a little research on whatever production company is, what they're saying. And a lot of times what you can do, and I've done this in the past, is you can find a designer that's worked with them in the past, and you can DM, on Instagram, or you can send them an email. You can ask that designer, how was it? How was the results? Would you work with them again? You can ask somebody that's already been in the show how it went with that company. It's so much fun to think that you're going to be in a fashion show, and it's definitely, you have to do it as a designer. That's part of being a designer. But having a limited budget, which I don't know anyone that's independent that doesn't have to look at the budget, it's really important to do the research and make sure that it's with the right company. So that was the first thing. And it was funny because we both had worked with this company she was asking me about, and she already knew. She already had the answer to the question. Maybe she just needed somebody to, remind them. So along with showrooms, they're kind of like all blending, like with the showroom production. And again, the showrooms need their rent paid, and a lot of times they will do that with a designer that's excited and thinks they're going to get a bunch of PR or sales or whatever. So my advice, which is what I've pretty much done, did have a showroom that I worked with and a rep that is still a good friend of mine that I worked with for years. She's now out of the business, but every show we did that I participated in with her, she got me in because I was part of the showroom, which is another aspect of, you don't always get into the bigger shows that you want to get in as an emerging designer, because maybe you don't fit what they want you to be, and so they want it all to look cookie cutter the way what they think their buyers want. So when I was doing shows with her, I always went to the show. I always put in the hours. I always made sure, how I looked at it, it was my investment. And it was important to me that I knew what was going on. I knew if it was worth doing that show again. I could contact the buyers if maybe she was not following up with them, which, if you got to be, it's your business. Nobody's going to care like you care. So that's kind of covering both being in a showroom and being produced by a production company that wants you to be in their show. The other thing is doing trade shows in general. So for this young emerging designer, independent designer. She was asking me about doing the swim shows in Miami. And so my advice is, if you can, take a season to go to the show that you're interested in being in. Take a season to go walk the show, look at the people, look how many people are sitting down and writing orders, make friends with some designers, wear your stuff, wear your pieces, because you're going to be in a room in an area full of designers or stores and PR and bloggers and everything. So make sure you're dressed with in your pieces, and walk it and see how it feels. Do you see your brand there? Is it a good fit for you? Now, for myself, of course, that's not what I do. I normally just jump head in and figure it out, which is good and it's bad. For me, I know I can invest in myself, and I know that I'm a good investment. So, and I think at this point in my career, I have a really good instinct about things, even though they can still sucker me in to going, oh my God, it's kind of like a dangling carrot, like, oh, a fashion show and they're giving me 50% off because they're saying a designer actually dropped out at the last minute. Yeah, I don't think so. So you're gonna do a show that blows. You're gonna do a trunk show that blows. You're gonna have those wins and losses. I'd have to say every trade show I did, I broke even or better. Most of the time better, but yeah, there were a few I broke even. There weren't any that I didn't get orders, that I completely didn't get orders from. So that probably has something to do with being with this particular showroom and she was my friend. Now, what I did with her was I only paid for representation at the show. I wasn't in her showroom, so I didn't have that year-round expense. So again, like if you are a resort collection, Miami would be a great show for you. And I would still suggest coming down and seeing what it's like and, where you see your brand in which show. So anyways, I hope that helps you make some decisions about how to really take your brand, how to really get that exposure. Just remember, where you're creating attention, you have to get attention. So in which way will you do it? And being at a show is a really great way to meet people, talk about your brand, get feedback on your brand, especially if you're not in a boutique already, and expand your brand and take your brand to the next level. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.